Hey everyone, welcome to Cat Critiques with me, Kat. This is a chance to sit down, get cozy and dig into some film gossip. Tonight we're going into the woods. No, not for a teddy bear's picnic, but to meet Heather, Mike and Josh. Yep, you guessed it. We're going to talk about the Blair Witch Project, the film that made us all terrified of camping. So this is of course a really famous film, and it pretty much catapulted the found footage style into mainstream film. If we look around today, the film industry is flooded with this style of filmmaking. Think Cloverfield, Wreck, and that one film that made us all scared to have one leg out of the duvet. Paranormal Activity. So back to the Blair Witch Project. The film follows three student filmmakers who head over to Maryland, USA to investigate and document the creepy local legend of the Blair Witch. But of course, in true horror film style, this is not how things go down. But I mean, what exactly do you expect when you go looking for scary witches?
I'm not a witch.
Once the three filmmakers arrive in Maryland, they head to a small town of Burkittsville, formerly known as Blair. They take a wander around the area and speak to some of the local people there, asking questions about the witch. The whole place gives me Lauren vibes. But overall, the people are helpful and do give us some interesting answers. One person in particular drops some pretty disturbing lore about things that happened back in the 1940s. It turns out there was this guy called Rustin Parr who kidnapped and murdered loads of children. So obviously not a great guy.
Oh hell no!
We find out that this Rustin Parr guy would take children in groups of two down to the basement where he would make one child face the wall while he murdered the other. So yeah, we're not a fan of Rustin at all. The interviewee tells us that when Rustin was finally caught for his horrific crimes, he claimed that the woman made me do it, obviously referring to the Blair Witch.
Okay.
After their little walkabout, the three head off to the woods, and after a bit of a trek, they set up camp. Because I mean, who doesn't want to camp in a haunted woods?
Oh hell no!
So things are normal enough, until they're not. Once night comes, that's when things get freaky, and no, not in a good way. They start to hear noises from outside the tent, things like twigs breaking, strange giggles, and footsteps.
Hey there, demons, it's me, your boy.
To make things even worse, when they wake up, they find the surrounding area all around the tent has been covered in piles of weird rocks and handmade stick figures. A bit like a craft fair, but if that craft fair was in hell. Naturally, the trio starts freaking out. They realise that while they're exploring the forest, they're actually walking in circles. And of course, in true horror film style, the map goes missing. The thing that makes the paranoia and tension reach boiling point is when Mike admits to throwing the map away. I mean, what? Considering they're tired, lost, starving, and their mental health is in the bin, things just go from bad to worse.
Firstly, are you okay? I hope so.
Josh vanishes out of nowhere. There's no warning or reason. This is when our girl Heather breaks down and finally gets to that iconic scene. Yep, it's Heather's snot-filled monologue.
I'm so sorry.
Poor Heather is in absolute bits here. There's snot and tears everywhere. She's a woman on the edge, and to be honest, you can't really blame her considering what she's been going through. Heather's monologue is basically an apology to her fellow campmates, families, and her own. She tells us how bad she feels, how sorry she is, and basically blames herself for getting them all into this mess.
Aww.
Not long after the snot scene, Heather and Mike both hear screaming in the woods, And of course, they both assumed that it could be the missing Josh. So again, like the good people they are, they run towards the screaming. I know what way I'd be running.
Oh, hell no!
The screaming leads Heather and Mike into this really run-down old abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. Of course, when they get inside, the interior is pure murder vibes. There's graffiti, handprints on the wall, and the place is an absolute grim hellhole.
This is my idea of a very nice day out.
Again, horror film logic comes into play here when Heather and Mike decide to split up. Have we learned nothing? As they make their way around the house, they can hear screaming, and Mike's camera falls to the floor. Then we go back to Heather. Heather's running about all over, looking for her friends, and then she finally ends up finding Mike, but it's not quite what she's expecting. Our boy Mike is now in the basement, facing the wall. Yep. And Heather's camera falls to the ground as well, and all goes black. At this point, you might remember our earlier piece of information about Rustin Parr, the child killer who made his victims face the wall while he killed the other, when he was apparently possessed by the Blair Witch.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's facing the wall.
Cat, I'm trying to go to the toilet.
And that's how the film ends. We don't get any witch pop up. We don't know if it's Rustin Parr or the witch herself, or possibly the missing Josh, who could now be possessed by the witch. We're forced to make up our own mind about what has just happened, and that's what's so good about the Blair Witch Project. It makes us think, it plays on our fears of the unknown and the unseen, and wonder what could be lurking around the corner. The really amazing thing about the Blair Witch Project is that it was made with a really tiny budget. It cost an estimated $60,000, but the overall worldwide profit is estimated at around $250 million, so not bad at all. The marketing for the Blair Witch Project was definitely helpful in bringing in all those viewers, because in my opinion, the way this film was marketed was absolute genius, if not a wee bit unethical, but there we go. They really leaned into the whole found footage idea, and went as far as creating missing persons posters, which were put up in public places, fake police files, and even a dedicated website aimed at finding missing persons. These marketing materials were taken so seriously by people that some of the real-life relatives of the actors actually thought that their family members were genuinely missing, which is kind of terrible, but again, genius. Obviously, having this amazing marketing really helped the success of the film, and even though it did do amazingly well financially, it did divide critics and cinema goers alike. Some absolutely loved the DIY, low-budget, raw vibes, whereas others were just like, oh my god, this camera work is giving me motion sickness, and where is the witch? But again, I would argue that that is the point of the Blair Witch. It's about the unseen. They did follow up with 2 sequels. The first was The Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, and the 2016 follow-up, simply named Blair Witch. Unfortunately, neither films really lived up to the success of the original. My personal rating for the original Blair Witch Project from 1999 is... eight out of 10.
Yay!
I think it's slightly dated in ways because we're so used to seeing jump scares, super realistic CGI, and amazing horror films in recent years. But that doesn't take away from just how brilliant this film was. The small budget, the massive profit, the explosion of found footage film are all testament to just how great this classic film was and still is. It makes our brains work. It makes us imagine, it makes us wonder what is out there, and that's why I think it's a brilliant piece of cinema. So that's all from me. I really hope you like this review and thank you for joining me. And remember, the next time you decide to go camping and a random guy tells you that there might be a witch in the forest, maybe just go ahead and book yourself a nice sweet all-inclusive instead. Thank you. Bye.